Hey everybody, I'm Katie Arroyo.
And I'm Laura Manasowicz.
And this is Pinky Promise, a podcast about growing up. We are so excited today. We have one of my favoriteest comedians in the entire world, comedian, writer, and co-host of the No Fly podcast. Give it up for Amamah Sardar.
Yay! I'm so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you.
I've been drinking. It's like childhood.
I love it. Just like my childhood, I'm a little trashed.
I grew up a little trashy, so this is so
perfect.
Fun.
Join the club.
The costume.
Yeah. I think I don't think anyone can see, but my sweatshirt says New York fuckery.
I love it.
So it's very
You're ready. Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about. It was a lengthy episode title idea that we had, and we condensed it down to childhood gangs or childhood friendship clubs.
But like Thomas Brown, maybe gangs isn't a bad.
We've got to cut some brown in this podcast. But I was cracking up because we ask our guests every week, if there's something that they want to talk about. And I loved that you were like, yeah, I have a really cool idea. And it is, I want to read exactly what you wrote. And you said, hey, these are great. I grew up in a neighborhood with a lot of Pakistani kids, and we had a friendship club that I got kicked out of, and then I bullied them.
I did. It's so niche too. It's like, did anyone else grow up in an all Pakistani neighborhood?
I was like, you know what? Just stop right there. We're good. That's the topic. We don't have to throw anything else out. We're
Someone today was like, oh, you're recording tonight? What's your topic? And I was like, a Pakistani friendship club, and then getting kicked out of it. You know, that universal experience.
Yeah, that one's gonna be good.
You're like, oh yeah, no, I was in there too. I was the only white person.
I snuck in. Yeah, Laura, did you have any like friendship clubs growing up?
I'm certain that no disrespect to anyone I used to be friends with, like nothing comes to mind, but I don't see a world in which I didn't love to make a list of rules. Like the Babysitters Club was so important to me that I'm sure
you had something
to force my friends into something similar just without taking care of kids.
Yeah, we had I forgot about this whole like aspect of growing up until you brought it up, but we had what we called a sticker book club, which was like, yeah, and it was basically a way for like fourth grade girls to create a clique by pretending like we were all interested in these sticker books. And it was really like the rich girls in the club, there were like probably 5 of them or something or so, had like really cool books. And then like I had a binder that my dad bought at CVS that he felt was extravagant. It was like, I don't see how this helps you get into pharmacy school, but I'll buy it.
He was like, are you sure you don't want a chem textbook? This seems not.
This doesn't seem like.
Know how to stick the labels onto the pill bottles. So
yeah, exactly. We had I do remember we had rules where like you would buy stickers and then you would like trade stickers. And I remember like a girl did get kicked out of the sticker club.
Whoa.
Was it me?
Yeah. And then she bullied us, and here we are.
Full circle. It's me.
Surprise.
Wait, why'd you get kicked out?
I don't remember. It was like it was something with the trading. So it was like one of those things where you would buy cool stickers and then you were supposed to like trade them with each other. But I remember like I would get a cool sticker and I was like, I'm not trading. Like I would just want this cool sticker. Yeah. And I remember like one of the cool stickers I wanted was a 3D glow in the dark apple sticker. Like I think it might have been someone's dad's like apple sticker, but I just thought it was like a cool apple. I was like, and I want this. And puppy stickers had like a lot of currency in the
big
sticker
street
book.
value.
Yeah, a lot of street value. Yeah. flat glitter stickers, they were okay.
Like
You
Lisa
have googly
Frank.
eyes.
Yeah, I feel like a girl like wouldn't trade. So we told her she couldn't like be in the group or whatever, which was literally just us sitting there being like mean, I think.
You gotta back down. You know,
Yeah.
you can't. You let shit slide in sticker club, it sets you up for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. What kind of friend are you going to be if you're not going to trade?
Like taking your own gift.
Super
to the grab
capitalist
bag
now.
every day.
Yeah. We're not going to be socialists, okay, Becky?
Oh,
Yeah. So tell us about your
my very
friendship.
specific.
Yeah.
Let me just say that it wasn't like I only sought out friends that were like Pakistani, like, which I guess like honestly my mom was always like, white people are evil. She's right, kind of.
You're like, it turned out she wasn't that off.
But I grew up in a neighborhood that was predominantly all Black and brown, and specifically like about 5 or 6 houses were like Pakistani families. And
Did they
all,
know each other, or were
yeah,
they okay
like, all immigrated, and then
together?
like different times that like the realtor who sold like all those houses was Pakistani, so he was like, I'm gonna put these families together.
Yeah.
Because Long Island is like really white, so it was just kind of like a network for them to like, you know, like be together, and that neighborhood was relatively like less expensive. So it was a few blocks of like a lot of like Pakistani kids, and they were the same age as me. So that's like a lot of us were from like 9 to 12.
Okay, so like perfect.
Yeah. And then so what happened was there was a new girl who came to town who I ended up going to college with, and I ended up becoming like, we're so close now. Like I went to her wedding, but at the time I was like head person in the neighborhood.
I was just gonna say, was she like a rival?
Well, yeah, because I was just like, I like had the reins in the neighborhood for so long. Like it was me and this other girl, like Miriam, we were best friends. So then all of a sudden this bitch comes along and she's like really like aloof for like a 10-year-old. Like she just like knows what she wants. I swear to you, she was like, yeah, I like to listen to Bob Dylan. And I was like, okay.
You're like, no, you don't.
No, you don't. No. So like, I forget exactly how it started to happen, but like really slowly, everyone, like the other 3 girls I was around were just like,
it was like 5 girls. Was it all girls, or was it
no,
girls?
there was a few guys too, but for the friendship club, like specifically, it was all girls, because we were like, no boys allowed.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you guys call it a friendship club? Like, were you like, this is
literally, it was called friendship.
I love it tremendously.
we got laminated cards
Yes.
that said, and we got to pick a symbol and a nickname. This is like how we were.
You were
like,
into it.
Yes, yeah. The immigrants in us were like, this is what they did when we came to the country. Like, we get a new name and we get a sticker.
What was your symbol and nickname?
I honestly don't remember my symbol, but my nickname has always been Parmalat when I was younger. Even now, like my mom calls me Pama because I couldn't say my name.
Aww.
So growing up, it was just Parmalat. So that was my nickname.
Okay.
For sure. Symbol, it was probably, and I know it sounds so dumb, it was probably a basketball. I was like, I knew I wasn't going to last long when I picked that as my symbol. It's fine.
We've covered our intense love of starter jackets on this podcast, and like I played no sports that warranted me having that coat, but I fucking hated it. So
yeah, exactly. It's just like, no, this is me. This is who I am now.
I'm sporty.
Yeah, I was
Baller.
Sporty Spice always too. I was like, no,
Yeah.
I like one point I was like kind of overweight too, but I still was like, no, I love sports. It's like, no, you don't.
This basketball is me.
Exactly. So this girl, all of a sudden, like everyone's drawn to the new girl. So I started to get very jealous. Just this is like what I'm like in a relationship too. I'm like, who is the new person that you're hanging out with? Your new friend?
That's
Don't
what,
leave
honestly,
me.
you're like, this is where it started.
Exactly. I think, wow, I didn't realize that until your podcast. This is my abandonment
this
issues.
is what we do.
Yeah, we're just opening up old wounds.
But
yeah,
so, like,
girls, I feel like we're like that. When we grew up, we were like so afraid of losing our friends, which I think for a good reason, because girls were fickle growing up.
yes, and mean and like
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you guys grow up in neighborhoods with a lot of like kids your age or?
Yeah, well, we grew up in like a townhouse, but my friends grew up in like a real neighborhood, and so I would just do like anything to get to that neighborhood, like a bike, a rollerblade, like get dropped off, like any way I could like get to their house, and then we would like roam that neighborhood. So like, it was like I like put myself in their neighborhood clique. So you wanted to
Okay.
be like in the cool. I feel like there was nothing sadder than if you lived in a neighborhood and you didn't get invited to like hang out with the neighborhood kids, because you just see them like riding up and down the street and you're like in your garage or whatever.
Yeah.
But my friend had like she had like a group of kids like that in her neighborhood, and we would just like, you always want to be in the good graces of the neighborhood clique. You're like in constant fear of getting kicked out.
Yes, because once you get kicked out, where do you go? Like
Yeah,
you can't like join another gang or
exactly.
Laura, did you have like?
So we had like the house next door had kids. The two kids. The daughter was a year younger than me, so like we played together growing up. And our street was super residential, but it was like very busy. So it wasn't like there was no cul-de-sac, and like the parents weren't like letting the kids go run on that street because it was just not
safe.
really the safest. Yeah, you weren't like playing on Forbes Street. But I had friends nearby who had more like neighborhoody feels.
Yeah. Well, like for like this neighborhood, it was just like it's all like these brown kids that I like. We know the same language. Like everyone outside of this group, I had like white friends, but it wasn't the same. Like I couldn't go like way up a few blocks and be like, I'm gonna hang out with you guys because my mom was like, white people are evil. So again, like this is like I was just really relegated to this one area.
You're like, I have to make this work.
Exactly. And then so basically, like the new girl was like, what if we start a club? We'll call it the Friendship Club. What a stupid ass name for someone who listens to Bob Dylan all the time, right? Like it's
Wait, so did she start it? So she started the club?
She started the club, and I was like, there's some ulterior motives for you starting the club, because she was always a little cold to me but nice to everyone else.
She knew you were the alpha.
Out.
Yeah, exactly. And then
alpha knows alpha.
Well, they were like, she started this like Survivor bullshit where she was just like, well, like every month we can like vote someone out if we want. Like this is like, yeah. I know. And then like they only voted someone out once, and it was me.
How long did it take? A month?
Yeah, I was just gonna say
a month. And they were like, the reasoning wasn't even like anything. I don't even remember I just remember being so upset.
Yeah.
And then my like anger and sadness was just like, I'll fucking bully these bitches.
Yeah.
I don't care. Because like they were like, yeah, we came to a consensus. And I was like, you guys had a meeting without me?
You? Yeah.
Yeah. And like she's always been like, again, like very like calm. She's like one of those girls like when we were growing up would like read so much, and she was so smart.
Yeah.
That like to a point where like arguing with her was like a little like nerve-wracking. Like I think like at 10 years old, like she was like 2 reading levels ahead. And it's just like, oh yes, I'm like cool and fancy.
Sophisticated tween.
Yeah, and I had just gotten my laminated cards. I was so excited. And then they kicked me out.
Oh, that's terrible. That's so terrible. Did they have like meetings? Like, did you guys meet up for your meetings, like for your friendship club, or was it like?
Well, we used to hang out almost every single like night, like after school. I think this was like around summertime too. So like we would be outside in the summertime until like 8, whenever like the sun would set. So we were like outside almost all day playing with each other. So all I had was this group.
Gonna say, and then if it's summer, you're like really screwed because you can't like go hang out with other school friends. You're just like whoever's in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and you can't it's like you're 10, 11, you're not driving anywhere.
Yeah.
But I think the most upsetting part was like all the other little bitches agreed. They were like, yeah, I guess like you should be out. Like you're not apparently I had broken a rule. I think that's what it was, but I think the rules were just
Change.
there so I would break them.
They were like, the new rule is you can't like sports. So
Yeah. Like, and then I was just so distraught for like so long. And I was just like, oh my God, like, how am I gonna even like move past this?
yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
No, I get it.
this is
yeah.
my impeachment. Like, this is a scandal.
Go into the school year without like the confidence of like your friends having your back because you
Yeah.
lost them over the summer. That's brutal.
I know. And I was always such a good friend, but like I just became so angry. So what I
Yeah.
did was I aligned myself with the boys in the neighborhood. And I used to actually like actively pick on all the boys in my neighborhood because they wouldn't let me play basketball with them. And my dad was like,
Basketball is a real recurring theme.
it really is. I do have a podcast about basketball. It is an embarrassingly like, I do not watch it with any guy I'm dating because I just can't have any man explain a sport that I love.
Oh, yeah, you're like,
Or
just shut
interrupt one. Like, I just like lie. I'm like, no, I have stuff to do. I can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, so I ended up just like aligning myself with some of the guys, and then like the girls, whenever they had their friendship club meetings, I would like ride my bike around because
Like,
it's like all
buy it?
cul-de-sac. Yeah, so I would just ride my bike around it and be like, "Well, this is stupid," and just be so awful. And then like the guys and I would go to the house next door. So friendship club enemy was at house I think like 10. And
Yeah.
then our friend was at like the house like number 11. So they were right next door. So they would be in the backyard and then I would be in the backyard with the boys, just being loud and mean and like just saying awful things. So yeah, I think I lost their friendship literally and part of the club for maybe a few weeks. And then I just had to be like, why don't you guys want to talk to me? Like, it just like finally like I
Yeah.
broke down being like, but be my friend. So
I'm acting out because I'm hurt. So
yes,
let's do
exactly.
things.
Did you have, like, was there, before the new girl came, was there like a girl in the club that was like your best friend or?
Yes, her name was Miriam, and she was my best friend. We had grown up. Trying to think, like I think I even like saw she was like 3 years younger, so we were like friends from like
Really?
7, like
Yeah.
really, really young. Yeah. And she just was like, I just want to be friends with everyone. And I think what
Oh,
happened was New
Miriam.
Girl and I were just trying our best to be like, well, we're going to be friends with Miriam. She's a deciding factor.
Yeah.
But at the end, like, it just became that like everyone like slowly started to become friends again. And then I ended up becoming friends with like a lot of people at school, a lot of white kids. So I abandoned.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like abandoned like most of that group. And then over the summers, like I would do like whether it was like sports or anything else. So I was always gone. So like basically after that, like the friendship club was still them. And then as I just like in school was like doing dance and other stuff,
Yeah.
I was just kind of being mean to them just because I was an
Just
asshole.
still, yeah. You're still recovering. The wounds were fresh.
Yeah, and I think by that point it had been like at least like we were now like 13 and like everyone like just is so different. Like the girl who was in charge of friendship club like really just like became super quiet in school, didn't
Oh.
have a lot of friends. And I just was not nice and I like had a lot of friends. And then in high school, I don't know what happened, but like just she still was really quiet, didn't have a lot of friends, but then I was just like, I kind of like you. I like your vibe. And we were still neighbors during this whole thing. And then
Wow.
high school onwards, we went to the same college. We were like almost in the same, like our dorm buildings were like side by side. And we just became so close. I don't even know about Miriam anymore. I don't know what
I was
she
just
does.
gonna ask what happened to
Wow.
Miriam. Anything?
Well, I haven't seen her or spoken to her in years because she moved out of the neighborhood.
Wow.
Probably like around high school. So it was just me and this other girl.
Yeah.
And like I went to her wedding. I texted her during the pandemic. I was just like, I'm thinking of you. I miss
Yeah.
you. It's such a weird thing where like I had such bad blood for so long where I was just like, I hate her so much.
Did you guys like hash it out as adults or like talk through it as like older?
We definitely did. We talked. I like brought it up one night. I think I'm not gonna lie. I think in college when I was just hammered and I was
like, I've been holding on to this.
The best time to hash that shit out.
Yeah, I think our other college friends were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Because then friendship club, you wouldn't understand.
This was a real thing.
Last week.
Yeah. It's something from our past. It's really important. We're like, were you 10? Yes, shut up. I'm dealing with this.
It does remind me of like when I was in college, the second semester of my freshman year, like the day we moved back into the dorms, this girl moved in next door to me and she was beautiful and like so cool, and it was like, this girl's gonna be so fucking popular, and I was like, this pretty bitch is gonna come and do in one day what it took me all fucking semester to do. Like, I hate this girl. And I was her maid of honor. She's my best friend. And we've like totally, I've been like, Kara, man, I was not pleased when you came and moved in next door. She's like, I didn't do anything. I was like, I know, like, but do you know how pretty you are? I was intimidated.
It's so weird because I think that sometimes I wonder if we're also, I'm so wise as I've now on glass 5 of whiskey. I wonder, like, sometimes I think I'm so intimidated. Even when I came to like New York comedy scene, there were a few girls that I was like, I want to be friends with them and I'm scared of them. Yeah. But like now we're so close, and I think it's just like you have such similar vibes. That's a little scary because the world has taught you that it's like, no, it's just you.
Yep. Or just also like, oh, only one of you can be cool and pretty and funny. And so you're just like, oh shit, well, I want it to be me, so I can't have her there because she's definitely going to beat me.
Yeah. She's going to kick me out of the comedy scene. Like, it's just, it's insane. Yeah. And now I'm getting to a point where I've gotten to the point already where I'm just like, if you're a woman, I just want to help you in every way possible. And all of my like closest friends like are women, and like everything I've like gotten, I'm just like, oh, you know what? Reach out to this girl. Reach out, like, because there's just more space. But 10-year-old me was not about that.
No. Well, it's like, I feel like when we're like drunk in the women's room line in the days of old, when like everyone is your best friend, like I feel like that's like coming from a place inside us that we tamp down, and like we want to love everyone and like help everyone with their eyeliner or whatever. But we're just like taught to fight.
That is such a great analogy too. Like, it's literally like the bathroom is just like the mecca for friendship in so many ways.
Because we're all in the bathroom together, and we're like, we're in the bathroom together against all the douchebags that are outside of the bathroom. And then something happens when we get outside of the bathroom that we're like,
we come outside of the bathroom and people are like, why'd you take so long in there? And you're like, I'm establishing a relationship, okay?
I've literally like just like seen a girl like fixing her hair, like she'll make like a sound that's like, oh, like I don't know, and I'm like, you're so fucking beautiful. And like I don't know what it is, but it's just like there's that moment that I don't think any man will ever know, that mini instance of love that you have for another woman in the bathroom.
Yes.
It's the most beautiful thing in the world. But yeah, you're right. The second I get out, I'm like, all right, I'm back.
Who wants to?
This is my bar now, bitch.
Yeah, I was here first. I had to like explain that to I was like, growing up, I had mostly female friends in like a very tight circle of like, there were 4 of us that were like super tight, and we didn't have any of those. We had them, but we like quelled them. There was a little bit of jockeying for position over like who's the house, like who's the fun house or who's the like whatever one. And then I was close friends with guys for a while in my like early 30s, and the amount of thought that like women put into things that men do not put into at all. Like I would explain to them like, oh no, you don't understand. The first girl to a party she owns that party. And like when the other girls come in, they have to be like, they have to like present to this female. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's a thing.
It is a thing with men too, though. Men are like I'm friends with like a few guys, and sometimes if I introduce them to each other, it seems like almost like there's just like oh, I don't know, like I'm like, no, you guys can be friends, like friendship is cool.
They're like they like play it cool better, like they're just like I think what you just said perfect. They're usually just like, oh, I don't know, yeah, I guess they're fine. Women are like, I don't know, she was bitchy, did you notice she was bitchy?
Or in the opposite, where I'm like, I just really want to be friends with her, do you think she wants to be friends with me? And it's like, calm down.
So all of my adult, like, I feel like if you can like go back and trace the messages, which I just hope no one ever can, like in my late 20s, early 30s, trying to make friends with women, I like approach it like the most like such a like a caveman first grader, where I'm like, I like your shirt, be friends. It's like, and I think at the root of it, like that's what you want to hear, and that's like what you want to express, but we're like, oh, I have to be so cool, I need them to think I'm worth being friends with. And it's like, no, you're fine, you're a fine person.
Exactly. My reputation in New York is just weird girl who is now just like, oh yeah, we're all gonna be friends. I threw a party when I think about 7 months into moving here, called Let's Be Friends. And a lot of comics were like, is it like a networking thing? And I was like, no, like don't talk about, they're like, talk about yourself and your siblings. And people were like, what? Like, I don't, like, this person's my best friend, I don't even know if they have parents. It's like you just, it's like, I want everyone to just like get together and drink. And it went well, but a lot of people after that were like, I thought you were so weird. And then
you're like, I am, but also don't you feel better?
Yeah.
He told me Bumble had a friendship function.
Oh yeah.
And I moved out here to LA just almost a year ago, and so I didn't know, I had like 2 friends, and I was like, I'll probably need a couple more, and so I got on Bumble friendship, and it was like more fearful than dating. And the first like girl I went on a friendship date with is lovely, and she's the greatest, but we like went to a bookstore and got a coffee, and then it was like, I don't know, is this going well? Should we get a glass of wine? And I was like, well, this is wild. I'm looking for a drinking buddy, and I'm like, are we gonna move in? Do you think it's love? I don't know.
I think I remember.
I think you did that.
Yeah, I think I remember your friendship date, because you were like, what outfit should I wear? Is this like a good outfit?
That's so cute.
I was trying to tell my boyfriend at the time, I was like, okay, so I am going on a date, but it's with a girl, but it's different. I just want to be clear about what's going on. Like, it was wild.
I almost did the Bumble friendship thing, and then I chickened out because I was like, it just seems, no offense, it's like, it just seems a little strange. But then at the same time, I think I should have. Are you still friends with that girl or no?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
You're like, maybe I'll do it.
It was so weird because you're scrolling, and I'm like, all right, I need to find friends. So my pictures are gonna be, I'm gonna look fucking weird. You're gonna get my personality, because that's what you're gonna get if you're my friend. And all these women had like the glamour shots and like the airbrush, and which is like, maybe that's who they are, maybe that's their personality. But I'm like, yeah, we're not gonna mesh. I have a picture posing like I'm on a 90s rap album at the Grand Canyon. That's what you're gonna get, right? But so it was weird, and I'd be like, why aren't people swiping on me? And it's like, well, if it's just people yelling about brunch with a lot of makeup on, these aren't going to be your friends, Laura.
Yeah,
like,
you're fine.
That, and that's all
that's
right.
such a weird thing to be like, not getting matches for a friendship.
Hurts more than men.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Damn it.
I also think that it is like actually a really good way to filter out, because sometimes like when I first moved to New York, I was friends with some people that only like kind of later into our friendship, as it like had blossomed, I was like, oh, they're not the best people. But if I had an app, like if I had a chance to see some of their like social media stuff in advance, that I was like, this doesn't seem like we could be friends.
Yeah.
Or like their Twitter, to be like, I don't know, it seems like they're kind of a dick. Like,
yeah.
But no, and it was just like a weird friend breakup then, where
Yeah.
like very slow. It's so, friend breakups are the weirdest because like it's so hard to just be like, it's like you're not fucking them. You
Yeah.
don't, like, it's just so hard to be like, well, I don't know, like this just isn't working. And they're like, we see each other a few times a week. And it's like, exactly, it's too
It's
much.
too much.
Yeah.
I want a
How-
different direction.
Have you guys ever had like a friend breakup growing up that you had to like talk about?
In college, I had my like, I've only had like 3 major friend breakups, and it was college after like at the
All
age
your
of
major
25.
life.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then 29, like right before I turned 30. So like
Mhm.
those were like the 3 major ones. But the first one, I remember I like had a like I sat in her room like I was gonna break up, and she was like, I
Yeah.
just don't understand what happened between us. She just became like very controlling, and she kept being like, it was weird. She was like, I don't like you hanging out with like other people. You're my friend. And I was like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I was like, you're gonna kill me.
Right.
But it was so strange. I will never forget, because I just remember sitting on her bed and just thinking like, this is like a weird moment. And for some reason, like I didn't know it at the time, but it was so etched into my head. But I was just like, I don't know, like it just seems like you want a lot from me, and I just need some space. And
Yeah.
it was, I think, the first time I ever like broke up with anyone.
Well, I was gonna say that's
Mm.
like a good mature avenue to take with that at that age, because I feel like a lot of women at that age are just kind of like, I'm gonna ghost into the night and just stop taking your calls as much.
I
And then,
tried, but she was like, we were in the same hallway.
oh, so she was
Right?
so
There's no way. Yeah.
you're like,
And
ah,
we had
Yeah.
like
that
half a
sucks.
year left. Like I had to like have a
Yeah.
conversation.
We had a friend breakup, and it was hard because we drank a lot together, and it was so volatile because we were always so drunk. Like it would be like, you shouldn't drive. Like she'd crash her car a lot, but then I'm always in the car too. So like I'm not any better at that, at that
Yeah.
point, but I'm
Right.
just the one that's not driving. And she was always she would be like an excellent friend, but then she'd had like a thing where we weren't sure if she was like hitting on anyone that people said that they were interested in. And
Oh
and
my God.
it was like no one talked about it. And then one day we were all like, do you guys get this sense that this is happening? And I remember like we had a volatile breakup, and I think we were like 20 or something, and we were driving, and I guess the breakup was like over 2 conversations. And at one point she was driving, and I was like, I want you to drop me off at this person's house. And she was like, no, I want you to come to my house. And I remember I go, I'm not one of the guys you're fucking. You can't control me. And then like I think I still went to her house. But like, so I was like, yeah, you
You're
can.
like,
Just this
you can't
once,
control me,
okay.
but I'm coming.
But I'll guess I'll sleep over one more time. So like then like it like culminated in this like we all were getting mature, and we were at a party, and she wanted to leave because I think someone who was like not in the group called her out on like hitting on someone. And because we were all like, well, this is just like, you know how friendships have rules, and like one of our unspoken rules was like, I guess we all just don't call her out on it. Like I just remember I was like, well, I know my boyfriend would never do anything with her, so. And he would say like, oh, she's a little weird sometimes, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I know. But so like because I felt safe with him, I just like let it go with her. And then another girl like didn't follow that rule, and she like called her out on it, and it blew up where like we were all like, please don't drive home right now. And she was like, I'm driving home. We were like, you're so drunk. And it blew up into like a whole thing where and she called us out, rightfully so, and was like, you guys always get in the car with me when I'm driving, and now you have a problem with it. And we were all like, no, you're right. But like it was just like this weird thing when she just like literally like drove off into the sunset, and then like we just like all stopped talking, like with her. We all were like together,
Okay.
and then like she just like drove away. And then years later my friend texted me and was like, she got married, and she goes, she was waitressing, and she goes, her husband like came into the restaurant, and for dinner, and then I guess he like knew my friend from her talking about her. And she goes, he like knew me, and I was like, oh shit, what happened? And he goes, he said, you know, my wife loved you guys so much, and she always talks about how much fun you guys had and like all these sweet memories. And I was like, well, those were true. And we were all like, okay. Like, okay. And now like we never like talked about the breakup, but we'll like casually talk on Facebook. And it's
That's
like,
so it's
yeah,
so weird though. Like
yeah,
that, like you were obviously a big part of her life. That her
yeah,
husband is like,
yeah.
yeah.
Like for him to be, I was like, I told my friend, I go, what do you think they talk about? Like, cause there's no way I could do all of that and then not be like, and then it went bad. I was like,
Obviously, yeah.
But yeah, it was like such an intense breakup. And then I was like, man, people handle things so differently. Like, I'm sure she was just like, I want to move on past, like, her life is so different than it was at that age. Like, she has a great job and 2 kids, and it's just so funny. I'm like, we were like crazy drunk all the time. Like, we'd go out and have like
She might still be crazy drunk all the time. You never know.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true.
You're not that close to her anymore. You have no idea what just happened.
That's true. That's very fair.
Like I'm the same. I think I'm more drunk now than I was in my early 20s. Like I don't know.
I think 2020 doesn't count. Everybody gets a pass.
Yeah, that's true. I was not drinking last year at all, and then this year I was like double. That's wild, though.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
When my friend told me that she ran into her husband, and then she said he talked about us, I was literally like, okay, what did he say? And she was just like, he just said how happy he was to meet me, and like how much she talks about how much we loved each other and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay.
Wait, so
you can be like,
he just went to the restaurant randomly?
He and like they I don't remember.
That's weird. That's like a really weird, like
I don't remember. My friend wasn't weirded out about that. And I remember like she would be weirded out. Like she's the type that would be. Like they were there with someone that they mutually knew. Like he was eating with someone that they mutually knew or something. And then it like came out that he was married to her. And then he was like, oh my God, I hear all about you, blah, 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 blah. And my friend was just like, what? Like, she was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, well, that's how, okay. I was like, yeah, cool. But I was like, man, I want to be a fly on that wall because I don't know how.
I do too. I'd be like, sir, I have some follow-up questions. What exactly?
So how did she describe it fading away?
I've had the other major friend breakup I had. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I decided to share this story to
that's okay.
Okay.
Listen, we had Maya Mannion on to talk about family food, and we spent like 20 minutes talking about, like, I don't remember what it was, but it had nothing to do with family food. So you're fine.
Awesome. Well, because I did Teach for America, and then I was so lonely. I had moved from New York to Rhode Island, and I was so lonely. First year teaching was awful. So I became really close to a group of girls, and one of them was just psychotic. Like one time, and she's now married to this guy. I wonder if she'll ever listen. But she called him 50 times one night because he was like, I need some space. And then she was throwing a fit, and she was always so awful to me. And then when the Black Lives Matter protests first initially started, with not a lot of people were on board with a lot of the stuff. But I remember being like, hey, some of your boyfriends are in support of Darren, the guy who shot Michael Brown, all these things. And I was like, this is hurtful to me. Your teachers in an urban area.
Yeah.
And they were like, you're just being really mean to us. So I had to and I was so new in Rhode Island, but then I was for the best. I scrapped them, found random people, then ended up doing comedy. So it was great.
Oh, good.
But I was invited to a wedding recently, and all those girls were there. And then I was put at the same table with them and their now husbands. So it's just me being like, I'm in New York, I have 4 roommates. But it was such a weird thing where like it was kind of weird, intense, and then finally, like as we started talking, like two of the girls were like, "I really miss you."
Aw.
Yeah, and then the
Yeah.
girl who and I, like, we never got along. She was just quiet the whole time, and I was like, "Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to be here either, bitch."
She's
Yeah.
like, to be clear, I don't miss you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Likewise.
I just want it noted.
Excuse me,
I'm
if I go to the
neutral.
bathroom with you, I'm not saying shit about you. I'm not saying anything nice.
That is
I'll tell-
crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, it's weird, and that's why like now I'm just like I can't go to. I was like whoever's wedding I'm invited to, I hope it's a comedian. So I just know I have friends around.
Yeah.
I went to a wedding with, I had a friend break up with a guy friend, and it was like such a not a tumultuous breakup, but I guess it was just like it was like a will they won't they thing for so long, and then I was like, listen, let's just really be friends, and then we'll date other people and we don't have to worry about this. And he was just like, yeah, fine. But it was kind of like a no answer. So then like when I started dating someone, it was like in his mind we had broken up, and so it was fine. And I was just like, you know what, fine, let's just not be friends, it's fine. So we go to our mutual, like very close friend. I don't see this guy for like a year, and then we went to a wedding together, and I was like had a couple glasses of wine, and I saw him, and I was like, we were in line for like the cheese and crackers together, and I turned around to hand him a plate, and he was like, oh, and I go, oh, are you gonna be like a grown-up today? And he goes, I just want to never see you again in my life. And I go, oh, okay.
Oh my god, he's not. Oh my god, what a baby.
Yeah, and then it became time to like find our tables, and we were at the same table. And so I had brought like one of my girlfriends to the wedding, and we had like the best time. Like my other close guy friend's girlfriend came, and we had just met her, and like we like kicked it off and or hit it off, and we were just like, the three of us were like having the best time ever. And I sent like a text to one of my other friends, and I was like, this was me and one of my girlfriends, and we were like spinning around on the dance floor, like just being idiots. And then I sent her a picture of the guy, and he was literally like the whole wedding. I'm like, I know it's a little uncomfortable for me, but I think it's way worse for him.
Honestly, he definitely just lost that entire interaction too.
Yeah.
Like whoever, like just be a grown up. Just even pretend for your own pride. I've had to pretend a lot. Like just pretend.
Yeah, you just go, yeah, ha ha ha, and then you're like, fucking bitch.
And you cry later. Yeah. You go home and you cry a lot in your bed. That's what you do.
That's what you do. That's how you handle that. But it was such a nightmare. I just love I love the idea of like the world is so big, but we still have friendship breakups and still end up at weddings with them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ugh.
The world's not as big as, even in New York, I run into the same people often. And like I like have ran into the same people at certain train stops. And I just like recognize them, and it's weird.
Yeah, now you're like, hey,
like this is a really big city. Yeah.
Yeah. It is crazy. Laura, did you ever have any friendship breakups?
Yeah, I think the two main ones were like in my early to mid 20s, and one was a girl from college that it was like a long time coming, but you don't know how to do that sort of thing until it like reaches an apex, and then you're like, this is all done. And that happened shortly after my graduation party. And then the other was another girl from college who we lived together, and it was chaotic for like a number of reasons. And she ended up moving out and in with one of my other close friends, and I was like so nervous because I was like, they're gonna get along fine and I'm gonna have been the problem and this is gonna be whatever. And then like a few months later that erupted into flames, and I was like, oh, thank God.
You're like, okay.
But she's still friends with I think one of my friends, and it's like, I mean, I haven't seen her in a million years and I have no reason to, but I'm also like, I was so mad for like a long time about it, and just like, you know, for whatever reason, whether it's valid or not. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, oh, I don't care. And that feels freeing. Like, like if there's like people that want to like jump in and shit on people, I'm like, it doesn't mean anything to me now. And there's like, if I'm gonna shit on somebody, I want it to feel good, you know?
I want it to be worth it.
Yeah, but at the time, it's like, it's so dramatic and it feels like everything because you've put years into these friendships, and you know, it really sucks, and especially if you're like young and don't have those skills yet. But but we get by. You figure out what's important, who's important, and what you're willing to put up with and what you're not. So yeah. I mean, that was like a shorthand version. There was like a lot more crying and alcohol involved.
There was a lot of bed crying.
It's just like every breakup. Like it's tough. It's hard.
Some of them I think are worse.
I agree. Some of them are, because I'm just like, I talk to you every single day. I told you every single thing.
Yeah.
And breakups, I'm just like, I knew from the start this was a really bad idea.
Yeah, this wasn't a good match.
I feel like when you like, so this girl I lived with, it was like, there ended up being, you know, substance abuse issues and stuff, and I just like, I think I probably knew it wasn't a great idea, but I wanted an apartment so bad. It was my first apartment, and I was like, I'm sure this is fine. And also, when you go to college together, like, your only frame of reference is seeing each other fucked up all the time. So you don't know that like life is different. So then you're like trying to figure out going to work and figuring out how to be an adult, and you're like, there are other things going on here. This is different than stumbling back to the dorms or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to do some reader tales?
Let's
All right. So we got a few good ones. Alicia says, I was in a club, she uses quotation marks, with two friends in middle school. It involved witchcraft and written code. Also filmed a parody of the Blair Witch Project, but with Barbies.
That's amazing.
It's incredible. And she's like, we were weird. And then her wife pitched in and said, oh, we're? Laugh.
I had one friend that was into like witchy stuff, and we wanted to be like magical so bad, but it was just the two of us. And so we would just like, we'd watch The Craft and we'd listen to like Typo Negative, and then just like be like, we're spooky. Like nothing spooky would ever happen.
But if we wanted
to be so bad.
They're charging $20 to rent the new Craft.
Yeah, and I'll probably pay it.
It's any movie that like came out on like Amazon, it's like $20 to rent.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Crazy. Becca says, I was in an unsanctioned recess acting club. Again, she used quotation. She said, we mostly performed American Girl doll plays to no one, although we sometimes filmed them with someone's dad's camera. I frequently auditioned for the lead role, Kirsten, Felicity, Molly, but I was always cast as the dad. Always. Mr. Merriman was probably my acting peak. Which was lovely. Josh hit us with some peak sad boy.
Yeah.
He said, hold on, loading. He said, I was in a group of people who were bullied so much we ate lunch in our math teacher's classroom, but I wouldn't call it a club exactly, which is very funny to me. And then my friend Steph, let me pull this up. She really hit it home for me today. She said, this came with like a lot of visual representation.
Visual accompaniments.
Yeah. She said, my super special friends group was me and 3 other girls in high school. We stayed pretty close-knit all 4 years. I'm still very good friends with my best friend from the group, although she lives in another state. Another friend got extremely religious, so we've drifted apart. The third stole from me and my mother after college, so we aren't friends anymore. And she said, I said, did you call yourselves anything, or was it just your friend gang? And she said, various adults called us the Mod Squad. Still don't understand that reference. I don't think we ever called ourselves anything. But they had a notebook that they would all write in and pass around rather than writing individual notes. She said there was a fifth girl that ended up breaking off the friendship with her pretty early on because she was super annoying. You couldn't talk to her about anything. She just wanted to talk about herself. And then she found the book, which I'll show you here. This is the notebook that they
Lots of stickers.
Lots of stickers. I don't know their street value, but they look pretty basic. And then
I didn't see any puppy stickers on
Nothing
there.
puppy. She said the girl who started it wrote rules. The first entry says, since we all write so many notes to each other, I figured this would be easier if we had one notebook that we all share. So here it is. Please, when you write in this notebook, follow these rules. Pretty please. At the top of the page, write the date, your name, the person who you are writing to, and the subject of the note. If you are writing a secret note and don't want anyone else to see it, don't write it. That's
Wow.
it. Adios.
Wow.
And then they really it's pretty incredible. And the best thing that she's there's pages after a friendship breakup that were ripped up and crumpled and then taped back together and put back in. So a boy was going through one of the girls' bags, found it, read about himself, and then wrote them a letter defending himself.
Oh my God.
Really incredible. And then my favorite page, somebody made us a handwritten spreadsheet of their midterms where they could all write their grades in.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow.
Very responsible.
Very
Their midterm
organized.
grades. Yeah. So this is like a friendship club burn book hybrid.
Yeah.
And it really tickled me that and she found it in minutes. Probably she was like, well, this is embarrassing how quickly after telling me about this I was able to locate it.
That's all right.
That's all. That's from the listeners.
Yeah.
That's
Amamah,
so
do you
cool.
have? Yeah, that's pretty cool that she still has it. And I had so many notebooks. I hope I can find some of them. But next time. Amamah, do you have anything? Yeah, exactly. Well, I have that upstairs. That was gonna be a comedy bit, and then I didn't know that the Mortified podcast existed. And then I was reading through them, and I decided they're gonna do it better, so maybe we'll just leave the diary at home. But Amamah, do you have anything that you want to plug while we're here?
I have a podcast about basketball. That's on hiatus until basketball comes back. But honestly, just on my Instagram, I'll put up clips from my podcast and everything. So it's just at Amamah Sardar.
Awesome. And we'll put all the links to it. We'll put the links to your podcast also in the show notes so you guys can find it.
This was so fun. This made my night. This is such a great idea. This was just so fun. Thank you.
Thank you for doing it. We've been laughing because we'll have men and women on. Any woman that we reach out to, we're here's a list of topics. If you have anything that speaks to you, and within 2 minutes, the women are here's an amazing, thoughtful topic that I came up with. It's going to be so good. And I've got funny stories and sweet stories. And then the men are I don't care. You can just pick one. But thank you so much. This was so fun. And I don't think we could find anyone else that has the same, same tale. So we're really grateful for you.
We challenge you, listeners, if you also were kicked out of a Pakistani friend group.
I will fucking fight you if you are. This is my territory.
I am the leader of the group.
Follow Mama. Listen to her basketball podcast.
Yeah.
Follow Pinky Promise, rate, subscribe, all the things that we ask you every week to do. We got one more. We got another rating and review. So thank you. Let's see if we can get another one.
Yeah. All right, guys. Till next week.
Bye.
Bye.